Well, we're here with another edition of the Coach's Corner. Head coach Steve Johnson. Coach, still talking in November. It's a really good feeling. Coming off a 34-32 first-round victory, your first-round victory since 2018 in the playoffs. Obviously, there was the COVID year in there. But just a dogfight with a really good Wheaton football team who, in 15 years in the NCAA playoffs, have never lost in the first round. You do it on their turf. And I think Jaron Rossi put it really well in the post-game press conference. That game really felt like Bethel football.
Yeah, it really was. It was really gratifying. We have a really healthy relationship and rivalry with Wheaton, and I'm really proud of the fact that there's two schools that are really Jesus-based and that are some of the best teams in the country in football, and that does my heart good. But it was a big win for us, and the ability to go on now and be able to practice some more with a big game is huge, and it's good for our program. It's good for all of our kids, but even our young kids most especially. And so there's a lot of excitement about it, and the game was ridiculous. It was, the weather was nuts, and it was cold. And if it looked cold, it was colder. And the wind was not only crazy heavy, but it was also off and on. So. Right. I was trying to get our kicker, who was, brought up in Africa, to wait till the wind calms down before you can. I mean, there was like every coaching thing that you had to go through, we did. But it was a really cool day for us, and so proud of our guys. All we talked about was we want to make sure people know that they played us, and we want to be physical, we want to be fast, and we want to go. I think both defensive coaches, both defensive coordinators were going nuts because they weren't tackling very well. Part of that was the footing. Right. It's another thing you might not see on the stream, where it's hard to tackle, where you get to a guy, but you don't have the footing that maybe he does. And so Jeebly went off, and their guy Weeks just played tremendous football. So, but Jesse Scott, great guy. I mean, he's taken over for Coach Swider, and he's kind of keeping things running. So. It was really a cool deal, and then we got some Lou Malnati's pizza for on the way home, and that's heaven for me. So
right, well, a win makes it a good ride home. Lou Malnati's makes it even better.
There you go. Amen.
We talked about the weather a little bit. It seemed, if you're watching on the stream, it looks like weather could be a factor, but the way you guys moved the ball, it didn't make it seem like a factor. And then to finally get the big play, that kind of just gave you that extra oomph down the stretch of Devin Williams, the pick six to start the second half to kind of keep you guys ahead. Those are just some big plays from some big guys.
That was a huge play, and it was right off the heels of, I'm making a decision to kick into the wind.
Right.
So we could have the wind in the fourth quarter, which helped when they did an onside kick. Even though it was low on the ground, the wind helped hold that up. It didn't make 10 yards. So, you look pretty smart on that. Could have looked like an idiot, but Devin saved me. And so his pick six was huge. And they were always, trying in that mode to catch up, and we just need to make a play, and then we did on their 2-point conversion, and we've been gold on our point after touchdowns.
Yeah.
And so the one time we have a snaps a little bit off, and the one time where that like is huge, and it always is.
Right.
But we missed that, but we were able to kind of stay in the fight and then finish. So it was a really gratifying win.
Well, I think one thing, at least I noticed from the press box on Saturday, is that was the first real game where it felt like Jeebly and Kunkel, you could really see how they complement each other. Kunkel gets you 4-5 yards, he's just plowing through people. And then to bring in Jeebly, you think about his first touchdown run. You're about 7-8 yards out. He runs into a wall, but somehow finds the open gap on the left side and just makes it look like it was the easiest thing in the world.
Yeah, and he gets a block from Rosti, who's, we're holding together with baling wire. And so it was really a great run by Jeebs, but you're really right. Our 1-2 combo with 1-2 punch with Kunkel and Jeebly it's really effective, and Jeebs is a little bit, you think he's the speed guy, but he's really good inside, and because Kunks is a moose, you think he can't get outside, but he can. And so both of those guys, they wear on the defense, opens up Rosti a little bit, and I think that'll be better when the weather's better.
Yeah,
that's going to be even better, because our receivers, Ante and Ellingson and Kidder and Micah, those guys are fantastic. And have all those weapons, and then a guy like Rossi dishing it out is really a blast.
Yeah, I think that's a great point because, while you didn't pass it 35 times, Wheaton's defense still had to respect the pass. I mean, you get 2 passes on 4th down conversions on that late in that 4th quarter that were really big, but we're still able to go to the run game and make those big chunk plays.
Yeah, and I think both. We want to be that. We want to be both things. When Rossi talks about Bethel football, we are. It's a physical thing. It's not necessarily we've had times where we are a running team, but we've never not when we're good been able to do both. And so I think our running game is emerging a little bit more now than ever. But part of that's a result of they have to worry about those guys now when they come back in.
Yeah,
those guys will and you don't always have all those gifts. And so and the weather kind of dictates some of those things. So we scored all of our touchdowns, I'm pretty sure, into the wind.
Yeah.
And so much for me staying up all night worrying about the wind.
Right.
So, but it was really the guys they weren't we talk about don't miss the game by worrying about the score and all those other things, and I felt like we did a great job. Be in it, be where your feet are, get to what's next, because it was an up and down deal. Like oh my goodness, no way, so you're worried and you're da-da-da. We just had to stay right there, and the guys did a good job of that, and coaches too. So.
Yeah. Well, now you look forward to this weekend. You're going on the road, this time a little bit further away from home, and going to Oregon to take on Linfield, who is undefeated, a top 5 team nationally. I think the interesting part when you look at this matchup is their defensive front, right? They have top 5 nationally in sacks, but you have an offensive line that is top 5 nationally in least amount of sacks giving up. So on the defensive front, what's this challenge? Having never faced Linfield, obviously, in our time here, what does that challenge face going into a second-round game?
Yeah, I think both defensive fronts, are highlights. For our team, same thing as we pressure them and we kind of bring it. Our back end is going to have to do a great job with coverage, but we got to put pressure on their guy. One of the reasons our offensive line has been amazing in it, but their defensive line gets after it, and they don't need a whole lot of blitzing either, but our offensive line has done a great job, and it's also, Rossi's not very easy, and neither is George Bolt. Neither one of them are very easy to sack, and so there's really a thing in football that you kind of get into stats and sacks, and it's hurries that can really make a difference. And like we had the 2-point conversion that Wheaton missed, and a lot of that was the ball was tipped and we were in his face, and so pressure on the quarterbacks is going to be huge, and also when you have to fit up with another hat for a quarterback running, so that's important for Rosti. We've kind of toned that down a little bit just by virtue of what's going on with his body.
Sure.
But their guy, same thing. He gets loose, and then big things can happen. So we need to tackle well. We need to tackle better. We need to do a better job on those things defensively. But we also need to understand that we're in the right spots, and we've got to make those plays. And then the team that wins is going to be the one that does that. And they're 2 of the top teams in the country for a reason.
Yeah. So another week with your team, you get to prep. Even though it's Thanksgiving weekend, we always talk about sometimes if you're practicing on Thanksgiving, you're probably doing something right. And now just having that extra week, another week with the team, there's something special about road games, I think, that bring teams together when you get to go on a flight together, and now you're getting out there and you're doing everything in the hotel room together. And just talk about kind of the preparation in this week to go out to. Now it's probably going to be 50 degrees. Might as well pack the shorts, right? A little different weather conditions, but still an adventure that's pretty fun for this team.
Yeah, it's even getting nice here. As I had a little comedy in there's a Zoom call for the preparation, NCAA rep and everything, and they were asking about that Pomona from California was up at Linfield last week, and they asked about heaters, having that, and so they asked me, and I said, no, we don't smoke, but the heat, if you need a heater at 50 degrees, you've never been to Minnesota in November, and so I think that, we have to make sure that it's going to be 100% chance of perfect.
Yep. And
we got to manage the weather. You got to manage whatever circumstance we have. We got to manage it and play as well and as fast as we possibly can. And our guys are up for that. And we're trying to get as healthy as we can be, and then play fast and and physical, and we'll let the chips fall. And if we get to keep going, that's the beauty. And going back to that, traveling together, man, our team is so close, and it makes it easier. I mean, there's a lot of logistics going on right now, believe me, but it makes it easy when our guys are, we can laugh if something goes wrong, but we can make the adjustments, and we're really comfortable with each other and love each other. And so it's like, they're a pleasure to be hanging out with. And we're in a hotel last week in the Chicago area, and they couldn't believe what a nice group of guys we have. And I don't want to take that for granted. Sometimes maybe we do and expect it, but pretty proud of our guys and the kind of men they are.
Yeah. Well, kickoff is coming at noon Pacific time, so it'll be 2 p.m. if you're sticking around in the Chicagoland area Central Time. If you're headed out to Oregon, get those flights. Tickets will be on sale there. You can get your pre-sale tickets. Those will go live middle of this week. And Coach, best of luck. It's going to be another fun weekend.
There you go. Can't wait. Happy Thanksgiving.